Just say what you mean what you say.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Larisha Speaks, the case for corruption. I know it's been a minute. It's been a long time coming, but I've been meaning to do this case with you for a long, long time. It's a very, very interesting case. It's a case that is very, very complex, but simple, if that makes any sense. It's complex because of all of the allegations and the story, and it was attempted murder before the actual murder of the victim in this case. I want to be as respectful as possible because we do have a person who was unalived as a result of this incident. So I want to be sensitive to her family, but I also want to get the story out because we had a young lady by the name of Jessica Sweeney who's incarcerated with 95 years in prison for a crime she says she did not commit. Now, speaking with her family and one of her close best friends, I wanted to get into the details of this case because 95 years is a long time to be sent to prison for a crime you did not commit. And her story is very, very complex, but it also shows how Black people can be charged with offenses, and regardless, if we don't have the money for an attorney, and even if we do have the money for an attorney, if we don't have capable, competent attorney, our life could be ruined. Now, in this case, I mean, it starts off very simple. You have a young lady who was dating a young lady. They were dating, they were in a relationship, they were fine. And then the young lady was shot. And when she was shot, everybody rushed to the scene, the investigation. They didn't know who did it. It was a who done it. Basically, they didn't find the person who did it. And then, I believe that was in March. Maybe sometime later, Jessica and her were dating on and off. They were members of a biker club. They dated, and she dropped her off at the train station. She dropped her off at the train station in Asbury Park, and she was never seen from again. But what Jessica didn't know at the time, and neither did the victim in this case, is that Jessica had a stalker. And Jessica's stalker, allegedly, who was obsessed with Jessica and wanted to be with Jessica. And because he couldn't be with Jessica, he unalived her girlfriend. Not only did he and these are all allegations. This is my take on the information that was given to me in regards to the story because of his obsession with Jessica. That's based off of the investigation that I did. So I'm going to say allegedly. Based off of his obsession with Jessica, he attempted to murder her one time and shot her, and then he unalived her. But the kicker in this case is the fact that when he unalived her, he went to the court and said, Jessica told me to do it. The body was found in his front yard. He saying that she told him, mind you, she's 125 pounds soaking wet. He's a big man. He said that she told him to do it. There's no evidence. There's not a letter. There's not a text message. The court doesn't have any information from him confirming that she, in fact, did tell him to do it. But because he said in court, because he said she told me to do it, she was sentenced to 95 years in prison and he got 15. And he buried the body in his yard. And this is a very, very troubling case, not only because the allegations, you could just say, well, the person told me to do it and not have any evidence for that, but the fact that the counsel in this case, Jessica had a paid attorney. So her family got together and paid an attorney to actually represent her in this case. And that attorney, in the middle of the case, went to rehab. In addition to him going to rehab, he left the law firm that he was at due to his alleged alcoholism. And because he left and he was having issues with it, and the family had already paid handsomely the fee for him to represent the case. And he didn't do his job. At the time of the offense, Jessica was has an alibi. She was with a person who her attorney didn't even call to the stand to say that, look, she was with me the whole time. She didn't have anything to do with that. Her attorney failed to call him to the stand. In addition, the prosecutor, Monmouth County, Ocean County prosecutors charged him with lying because he said she was with him, which it wasn't a lie because they can prove that they were together. But since he was her alibi, he was initially, when I was wanting to do this podcast, he was incarcerated because he basically said she was with me at the time that it happened, because she had an alibi. But the counsel that she had in this case didn't do his due diligence to fight for her innocence. In addition to him being in rehab, and I think he was in rehab 2 or 3 times due to alcoholism, allegedly. And he was at a law firm, a prestigious law firm in Ocean, Monmouth County, left that firm because of his alcoholism. The family still stayed with him as an attorney handling the case. He would come to court intoxicated, inebriated. She did not have the best counsel in this case. And she didn't know the rules of the court, how you can basically say you ineffective counsel and things like that. And she went to trial. The attorney didn't even put her alibi on the stand. Literally, just because Andre Harrison said she told me to do it, she got found guilty. And this case is very, very, we talk about these wrongful convictions and we look at what the police do. Again, they didn't find the person who allegedly shot her. Then she was unalived, and they didn't even find, I believe it was from March to November. It was a good 6 or 7 months before they honed in on the guy who actually did it. They used phone records and phone receipts. For example, if you're dating somebody and you have other friends and the person is in the hospital, you just text your friends, oh, this is going on. You let them know what's going on. That doesn't mean you're co-conspiring to unalive the person. It means you have friends and you're talking to your friends. You're in constant contact with him. The police use the text messages between her and her friend / allegedly, in my opinion, stalker, to say that she was talking with him about the quote unquote crimes, when she was, because it was her girlfriend, not because she paid him to do it. And they have no proof. Again, there's no text message, there's no letter, there's nothing that the police have that said she asked him, quote unquote, asked him to do it. And the fact that the police got a conviction and used that as is just mind-boggling me. She got 95 years in jail simply because he testified against her and he got 15. And I could be mistaken, he may have gotten 8. He got a minimum amount of time in prison, and he basically said he covered up, or she brought the body to the house and he just took it and disposed of it. So he was charged with disposing the body. When the police searched her car, they searched her house, they didn't find any fabrics, nothing tying her to the scene, nothing tying her to the shooting or the murder of the woman in this case. The only thing tying her to it was what he said, and none of it was confirmed. And this young lady is in prison, and she filed for motion to appeal. And basically, the fact that she had a witness in the case and her attorney didn't even present that witness at trial. What we have to look at in regards to cases like this is, what does effective counsel mean? Sometimes we hire attorneys, or we don't know what's going on with the law, and we do things and we think this person has our best interest at heart. And we really have to start understanding that these attorneys work for us. And when a point in time comes, regardless of how much money we give them and we give them and we pay for them to represent us, and we see that they're not representing us, we have a right to question it. In addition to question, we have a right to ask for our money back. Because for this young lady to be in prison for 95 years, because her counsel did not do everything he needed to do, he did not vigorously represent her, defend her, ask the questions that need to be asked. They don't have the evidence. Again, he say, she say, but you don't have any evidence from linking me and her together for this crime. Simply his word. And I don't want to say anything about one being flew over the cuckoo nest, but you can tell this person is not all there. So because they just because they say it, the fact that I can be convicted and sent to prison for 95 years when there's no evidence or there's no proof linking her and him to be co-conspirators in this crime. Yet he is a co-defendant on there. He took a plea. He got less time in prison because he basically said he just disposed of the body, even though the body was found in his yards, and she did all of it. There's no DNA evidence. No, I can't believe. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I don't know what more I'm shocked at. Is it the fact that this attorney in this case was so negligent in his misrepresentation of this client? The fact that he went to rehab, alcoholic rehab, 3 times while representing her, didn't come to see her to talk about the case ahead of time, didn't present her witnesses, if her character witnesses, her alibi witnesses in trial, and it was a 3-week trial, and he would come to court intoxicated at times. Is just wow. It's very, very heartbreaking, the fact that this happened, and the fact that this young lady is now, she's appealing the case because it's so many different reasons. It's very, very unfortunate with this case. It's very, very unfortunate. The fact that you have someone in prison for 95 years for a crime that they are saying they did not commit, they didn't have anything to do with it, and the fact that the prosecutors in this case don't have the evidence to prove that they did. The only evidence they have is the guy who was charged. He's charged with her attempted murder because he said that he unalived her once. He attempted to unalive her once when she was shot. He said that he shot her. He got 16 years. Then he said that Jessica told him to do it, and he did. There's no proof of this. This just his allegations. And again, understanding something about the law, you have to have something corroborating this evidence. The prosecutor went as far as to charge her, the person she had an alibi, the person she was with, to prove that she wasn't even aware of what was going on at the time of the offense. The prosecutor went so far as to charge him with not telling the truth because he said he was with her. And again, when I was on probation, they charged my witness and said that she didn't cooperate with the investigation because she wouldn't give them the statement that they wanted against me. It was very, very familiar when I heard that, because I know that they did it in my case. So them doing it to her in this case is just like, wow. That's the playbook that they use. If you have a witness to prove that you're innocent, they charge that person to say that person was lying. No proof that the person is lying, but they charge that person to say the person is lying to try to discredit your case because they want to find you guilty. Now, why, when you have the person who actually, the body was found in his house, he gets 16 years in prison, she get 95, simply off of the fact that he said, she told me to do it. There's no other evidence corroborating. And her witness that she didn't do it, her attorney failed to represent her vigorously because he didn't even testify at her trial. So the people in her trial didn't even hear that evidence. And Jessica submitted an 80-page appeal in regards to what happened in this case, in regards to the counsel, in regards to the way they were using the information and the evidence. And this is the thing about court I don't think people understand. Once you get involved and you get charged, but it's not necessarily you have to find your innocence, but it's the evidence that it's even allowed to be used at the trial. It can be motions where it could be a phone call and we could be talking on the phone and I can be talking about something. They'll use that phone call, but they'll cut down the bits and pieces of the phone call to make it seem like I'm saying I'm guilty. If I'm just literally stating the facts of what happened, as in what I was accused of. So they're saying that I went to the store, I did this, I did that. If I'm telling my mama that so she can know what happened, they'll take that recording, play it in court, not play, Mom, let me tell you what they're saying I did, just the this, and then they take that as a confession. The fact that the courts are allowed to do that is ridiculous. You take things out of context, and it's not right. And you're taking 95 years of my life. She was in prison from 2016 to 2021 when her case went to trial. Then when it went to trial, it was the 3-week trial. Her attorney went to rehab twice and was going through a divorce. He was an emotional wreck. He did not do everything he needed to do in her case. He did not present all the evidence. He did not file the objections or the motions that needed. He did not present the witnesses for alibi, character witnesses, and things like that. And unfortunately, she paid this attorney. So again, this is not like it's a public pretender who represented her in this case. This is actual an attorney she actually paid for. And what I want people to keep in mind with these attorneys, I don't think people understand these attorneys work for you. And they have to do what you ask them to do or what you need them to. He wasn't even going to see her when she was incarcerated in prison. He wasn't really going to see her mother. When he got let go from one law firm, went to the other law firm. After the mother had paid approximately $15,000 to $20,000 for this, she was saying, "Oh, am I going to get my?" Then it's a fight where you're going to get the money back, and all of that literally put her life in jeopardy. Now she has 20 years in prison. Now I believe she is with the Innocence Project, and she's talking. She's represented by a public defender, trying to get her case appealed. But it's once you get a conviction, to try to get an appeal is, you see, the hurricane case took 19 years. He was in prison for 19 years for a crime he didn't commit, just to get the appeal. And then we have to look at the fact that the laws have changed so that now we can't go to federal court to try to get any relief from the states and the corruption of the courts in the states. So this is one case that I'm definitely going to look at and more. I don't know why her attorney didn't present the fact that allegedly she had a stalker and this guy was stalking her, harassing her, wanted to be with her. She didn't want to be with him. Obviously, she was a lesbian. She was in a relationship with somebody that didn't sit too right with him. So he took out her mate. The fact that her attorney didn't present that as why he's testifying against her is because he wanted to be with her. And this is a childhood friend that she knew that she never thought that he would, or even like he was married, going through a divorce and had a whole family. So she never had any type of relationship with him to the point where make him believe that it was okay for him to commit murder on her behalf. And for him to say he did it because of her, the attorney never questioned his mental capacity, never filed any complaints in regards to his mental well-being and his obsession with her. And as a result, it cost her her life, because now she is in court dealing with a conviction for a crime she didn't commit, and she has 95 years in prison. She's at Etna Main Correctional Facility, and it's very, very unfortunate. I'm gonna try to keep up with her appeals in this case and post updates as much as possible. But this is one case when we talk about, having a good attorney that understands and presents all the information and evidence, and basically, you pay for an attorney. These attorneys, this is not a public pretender. This is an attorney that she paid for, but they did not represent her and did their due diligence in this case. Because I'm reading on the evidence. Why would he? Because I'm thinking in my head, why would he say? Because he was obsessed with her. Because he wanted to be with her, and he wanted to be with her by any means necessary, and he was willing to do whatever. And the fact that the prosecutor charged her witness with I don't know, lying or anything, but her attorney didn't put the person on stand. It's just the level of corruption to get their conviction by any means necessary is mind-boggling. They really don't care about the guilt, innocence, or what anybody say. Just because this person said, you told me to do it, and you have no, and mind you, she went to the police and talked to the police on her own because her girlfriend was missing. I dropped off at the train station. What do you need? Come to my house. Like, do whatever you need to do. That didn't matter. When he was found and the body was there, he said, oh no, she told me to do it. She just, just because she told me, you don't have no text messages, no communications, no plotting, no planning, no let's get together here, let's plot this. None. You have literally, all he said was, she told me to do it. The DNA, the evidence was all on him, none on her. They searched her car, they searched her house, they searched, none of it's nowhere. It was only found with him, and he got 16 years for the attempted murder, and she got 95. And it's a very, very unfortunate incident. I'm going to keep up with this case to let you know what's going on with her appeals and things like that. If you have any questions, drop your comments, and just pray that this young lady get the justice she deserves, and try to bring attention to what happened in her case, because it's basically it's horrible that she had to go through this. And she's in there, she's fighting for her life. She's been locked up since 2016. She's literally fighting for her life for a crime she did not commit. And she's going to try the appeals as much as possible and try to get the word out on her case. Again, 95 years in prison. It's a shame. It's a shame. But we're going to send all light and positive energy and prayers her way. And please like, subscribe, and let me know what you think about this story. And I'll be bringing you more stories. Thank you.
I just want to thank everybody for listening, because although you might think I sit up here and diss and everything like that, I'm just a positive person trying to do a positive thing, trying to have a little bit of fun and make my mark in the world.